Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take 5. And I just want to continue to commend you. You're making the decision right now to study the Bible. And there aren't a whole lot of teenagers this morning doing that. So I'm really proud of you. I appreciate that. Of course, we're in Exodus. And I'm just going to say this is the best way to study the Bible. Just take a passage and just keep going with it till you understand it. But we're in Exodus chapter 12, verse 26. This is an action-packed segment of Take 5. I promise you that. And when your children ask you, what does this ceremony mean to you? Then tell them, it is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord who passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt and spared our homes when he struck down the Egyptians. Then the people bowed down and worshipped. The Israelites did just what the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. I just want to make a little connection there. They bowed down. That showed humility. They worshiped, and then they obeyed. All right? And you can't have true worship without obedience. You can go to church, and you can sing the songs, and you can pray, and go through the ceremonies, but if there's not obedience, you haven't truly worshiped God. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Verse 29, at midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on the throne, to the firstborn of the prisoner who was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of all the livestock as well. Pharaoh and all his officials and all the Egyptians got up during the night, and there was loud wailing in Egypt, for there was not a house without someone dead. Now, I know we know what happened in California, and the last I saw, 14 were dead. Can you imagine millions and millions of people dying in one night, and they're all young? A lot of them are children. They could be older children, but all the firstborn. Every family in Egypt had a death in their family all at the same time. And it said there was loud wailing. There was not a house without someone dead. And you can see, even just reading it right now, I'm sympathizing with those folks. But God said it was going to happen. But it didn't happen to the people of Israel because they had the blood that covered them. Verse 31, during the night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, up, leave my people, you and the Israelites. Go worship the Lord as you have requested. So Pharaoh calls them in and says, go. Verse 32, take your flocks and herds as you have said, and go, and also bless me. The Egyptians urged the people to hurry and leave the country, for otherwise, they said, we will all die. So the people took their dough before the yeast was added, and carried it on their shoulders in kneading troughs wrapped in clothing. The Israelites did as Moses instructed, and asked the Egyptians for articles of silver and gold, and for clothing. The Lord had made the Egyptians favorably disposed toward the people, and they gave them what they asked for. So they plundered the Egyptians. The Egyptians just gave them everything. They just wanted them gone. The Israelites journeyed from Ramses to Succoth. There were about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. So you can imagine probably 3 million people, probably something like that. Because you got 600,000 men, there's probably just as many women. If they each have 2 or 3 kids, then you get up to about 3 million, 4 million people. Many other people went up with them, as well as large droves of livestock, both flocks and herds. So not just the Israelites. Other people in the area also went with them. They saw that this was God's side. And when you obey God, if you keep doing it over and over and over, others are going to notice, and they're going to want to be on your side too. All right. Why don't we just stop right there? They're about to leave Egypt, and we'll pick that up tomorrow on the next edition of Take 5. Whoops. Sorry, it's taking a little longer to find the button than I usually do. There we go.